I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be being unsure is feminine, certainty is masculine. Well, I had an interesting exchange the other day on YouTube with a woman, and I thought it was great because what's so cool about this is that you can see based upon her responses how my response caused her to become more submissive, more playful, more apologetic, a little unsure of herself, and change her opinion to match mine. And something I talk about a lot is that basically by bantering with women and playing with them, teasing them in a playful way, treating them like a bratty little sister at times, just having a great time. Because on a date, hang out, have fun, and hook up is the only thing a guy really needs to focus on. But when you meet a girl, what's so much fun is that they want to, a lot of times they're going to want to see what you're made of. And sometimes they'll disagree with you on certain things, and for whatever reason, sometimes they'll disagree just for the sole purpose of disagreeing to see what you do with it. Why? Because girls they just want to have fun. And so I've got a quote that I want to share with you before I get into this email. And this is from Andrew Carnegie. And he said, think of yourself as on the threshold of unparalleled success. You know, what I say a lot is that you always want to assume, the best thing to do is to assume that all women want you. Now, obviously, that's not always going to be the case, but it's always the best place to presuppose that a woman wants you. Well, why would that be important? Because if you start talking to a woman and you fear that she doesn't like you, or you're worried or concerned about her not liking you, the way you're going to talk, the way you're going to ask her out, the way you're going to ask for her phone number will presuppose in the way you're asking it and saying it, and it will communicate that I'm expecting you to reject me, but I'm asking you out anyways. A guy who's successful with women, I mean, do you ever see James Bond apologizing for liking a woman? If he sees a girl, he goes for it, even when he's told not to, stay away, she's so-and-so's daughter, or whatever it happens to be. He goes for what he wants without fear. Why? Just because he wants what he wants. And so he doesn't communicate any doubt or fear. And so even when a woman turns him down, which doesn't usually happen very often, even when she turns him down or throws up, she gets fussy and says she's not interested, there's no way he could ever have her, he always gets his boyish smirk on his face, kind of communicating, I know that you're going to be just like pretty much all the other girls, and that you're going to be naked in my bed later, because he just assumes that that's what's going to happen. He thinks from the end, and so because of that, he's just trying to facilitate it, getting the two of them getting together as quick as possible. And so when she tests him or she throws something at him to see what he's really made of, like there was a part in the movie Casino Royale, it was the James Bond, one of the recent James Bond movies with Daniel Craig, and there's this woman that he sees in the parking lot as he's picking up this car that he just won, actually from her husband, who she happened to be pissed off at that particular moment, and he invites her. He says, would you care to join me for a drink? And this girl's gorgeous, dark hair, and she says, oh, it's been a long time since I've been bad, because basically it's obvious that he knows she's married, because I guess he saw the two, her with her husband or whatever. But the guy's a bad guy, and James Bond's eventually going to kill him anyways because he's a bad guy. And so she says, oh, it's been a long time since I've been bad. And then he looks at her with this, he kind of does that, that look that he has with his lips and stuff. And he's like this smirk that he has on his face, this boyish smirk, kind of like the kid that got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. And he goes, well, maybe you're just a little out of practice. And he just sits there with the smirk on his face. And for a moment, her eyes get kind of big, and she's like, for like half a second, she looks pissed off. The average guy who's apologizing for liking a woman would go, oh, I'm sorry, I know you're married, I didn't mean anything by it. She would have gone, okay, no problem. We'll just, be more respectful next time. And then she walks away, thinking to herself what a little bitch the guy is. But James Bond, he just sits there with a smirk on his face because he's waiting for her to throw her head back, laugh, and jump in the car, which is exactly what she does. For a moment, she looks disgusted, and then she starts smiling and laughing. She submits, she jumps in the car, and she goes off with him, and they end up going back to his hotel room and having sex later. And so basically what you always have the attitude is you want to have the attitude that you can talk a woman into anything. And so you're either going to talk her into sleeping with you or she's going to leave. In other words, you're going to stay focused on what it is you want in a sweet, charming, playful, somewhat cocky way, not an arrogant way, but a charming, playful way. And women that choose not to be with you, it's their loss, and you feel that way. Not that you're going to be rude or mean or whatever, because not every woman's going to want you. But if you always assume that they do, and you act accordingly, your success rate is going to be much better than presupposing that you're going to get rejected. And so this comment on this video was from a video I did called "Indifference Makes a Difference." It was, I think I did a year or two ago, the original video. And it's just interesting to see how quickly she changes her mind because what you're going to notice with the response is I'm only going to key in on the part that I'm interested in her conversation. I'm not going to mess with the stuff where she's saying she disagrees with me or whatever, or she says I'm wrong. I'm only going to focus on what's important, which is, since I've always assumed that all women want me, if I was meeting this particular girl in person and she responded and said exactly what she says here, I'm going to read to you what my response is. And you'll see why, the psychology behind it in a second. And so her response was on that video after she watched it, she says, "I have to say that he is wrong on indifference. It totally depends on the woman's age. Women my..." this is funny. She says, "Women my age would see it as game playing, and we don't have time for it. If you like us and we just said we are cold, then what you need to do is offer your coat if you are okay with the temperature. If not, ask if there is a way to adjust the thermostat in that room. If there is, tell her to adjust it or offer to do it for her." Well, that to me would be like butler type behavior. And if I'm comfortable in my jacket, even if it's cold and the girl's cold, it's like, I don't want to be uncomfortable. Why would I want to stand there and make her comfortable and then be miserable myself? I'm going to think of, from a higher level, I'm going to think about how can both of us get together and both be comfortable and both be closer together? Because at the end of the day, the reason she's probably saying these things that she's saying, in other words, she's saying she's cold, if I assume that all women want me and she says I'm cold, I'm not thinking that she's saying that she's cold because she wants my jacket. I'm thinking that she's saying that she's cold because she wants me to arrange the two of us being closer and closer together so she's no longer cold. That's how I'm going to assume, because that's what I'm interested in. Because at the end of the day, I'm the man. This is my kingdom. This is my house. And if a woman shows up in my house and interacts with me, I assume she's there because she likes me and she wants me. And so she says, if it can't be adjusted, maybe offer her your own jacket for a while. And it's like, then I would be cold, right? And so this would be my response. And so see if you can pick up on what I'm doing and what I'm focusing on and what I am ignoring. And so what I would say to this woman, if she just said she was cold and all this stuff, and basically assuming that, hoping somebody, because here's the thing, there'll be some other sucker that'll be willing to give her his jacket thinking that he's going to get her. So she said, she basically says she's cold, right? And so this is what I would say. You're cold? Well, come on over here, honey, and start hugging and kissing me. I promise you that we'll create enough body heat that you won't be cold anymore. That's the kind of thing that I would say to her, because I would assume it means that she wants to be close to me. So I'm just making that happen. So I'm throwing that out there. It's a little kind of naughty. Like, I just met this girl, right? But I like her. If I think she's attractive, I'm going to say something like that to her. Now, if she likes me and she's had thrown that out there in hopes that I do something with it and facilitate the two of us coming together. Because women are going to come right out and go, hey, you're really hot, I like you. It happens every once in a while, but most of the women are going to come and start talking about stuff like this. And I'm just going to assume that the reason they're talking to me is because they want me. And so I'm going to facilitate that. And so I'm going to say something like that. And so I wrote this back to this girl. And so here's what she responded with. And it's just interesting to see how things change. So you read it initially, and she's like, I don't agree with that, Corey. I don't agree with what you said. And now she says, LOL, I bet you thought I was trying to be mean. I wasn't. And my response to that is, I know you were just testing me to see what I was made of. And so she continues on. She says, you see a problem that she can't solve for whatever reason and then offer a real solution. And so that's what she's doing. She's throwing this stuff out there. Hey, I'm cold. And so she expects that, because what women tend to do is they take the little things and they blow them up out of proportion. Like, oh my God, I'm cold. It's freezing in here. And the guy just comes along with a great idea how to solve the problem. And like me personally, I thought my solution was awesome and it was funny and it was charming. She got a laugh out of it with the first thing she said, LOL. She could have said, oh, you're a jerk, you're a pig, but she didn't. I was being playful and I was being fun because that's what love is. And so, that was a much better deal than me giving my coat away and being cold. Instead, if the girl likes me, now we're hugging and we're kissing. And it's pretty simple that maybe after a few minutes I can say, hey, why don't we get out of here and go back to my place? I got champagne or we got hot apple cider or whatever it happens to be. If she's down with it, she'll be like, sure, let's get out of here. I was like, great, I live right around the corner. We can walk there. Awesome. And then you go. Or my car's right around, whatever it happens to be. So, like I said, besides, if she's really that cold, there's probably some other dude that's thinking, oh, I'll give her my jacket because he saw it in a movie. And then so he gives her the coat, and I'm sitting there, I'm still wearing my coat, so I'm warm. Now the girl is warm, and she's talking to me because I assume that she wants me. And now the weak guy has given her the jacket. And so when I say, hey, why don't we get out of here? As we're leaving, she hands him back the jacket, and he's thinking to himself, what the fuck? I did exactly what she said she wanted, and yet she's going home with that fucking Corey guy. That's why. She threw out there, first thing she says to me, I'm cold. What if I'm cold, right? My first response is to bring her closer into me, to bring her closer to me. And this guy's, he's taking the Mr. Nice Guy approach by offering up his particular jacket. And so, let's see here. She continues on. She says, by the way, I don't think the hugging and kissing would have worked at the time because wasn't the woman you were talking about at work. Now, if she had said that on a date, well, that is a different story. In other words, she's saying, hey, if we were on a date and you said that, she would probably, and she liked me, she'd hug me and kiss me. And so, I don't remember what the particular content of that video was because, I did that thing 1.5 years ago. But to me, when a girl starts saying that she's cold and she starts gyrating around, bursies, trying to sell it to me, I'm going to assume that, like I said, that she wants me and she likes me and I'm going to bring her in. So either way, even if she doesn't, I'm going to make her laugh. And so she's going to be feeling good and she's going to associate feeling good and laughing with me, which is a good thing because that causes her to associate that with me and that raises attraction. If she happened to be perceiving me as a 5 or better on a scale of 1 to 10 in her eyes. Because a woman knows basically within 3 seconds whether or not you're a 5 and better or a 4 and below and you ain't got a chance because attraction is not a choice. And so she goes on to say, she says, sorry about the typos. I'm working on a project and just took a few minutes of time to respond to you. So see, now she's going out of her way to be nice to me. And that's because I made her feel safe and comfortable. And so, in a way, she's also kind of seeking my approval. And so that's like I say, like the videos I've done about that, is that when a guy starts doing that, when a guy starts seeking a woman's approval, it's submissive behavior. He, in essence, is acting like a woman, just like she's acting. I acted masculine. I acted confident. I said exactly what it was that I wanted. And she responded exactly like a normal, healthy, fun-loving, playful woman would respond. She would assume that I have a good, I just mean nothing by it. I'm just being charming and playful. And if there is chemistry between the two of us, I'd be facilitating something happening by the way I'm interacting with her. I'm not acting like any doubt. I'm just assuming it's because she wants me, and I act accordingly. Because the average guy, he's just pretty much talking women right out of sleeping with him because he doesn't know any better. And like I said, a guy offering his coat to her, that is approval-seeking behavior. He's trying to prove himself to her. I ain't proving shit. I'm just standing there enjoying being warm with my jacket on. She's the one that's cold, and I'm available and single, ready to mingle. And I'd be happy to come on over. come on, why don't you come on over and start hugging and kiss me? That's exactly what I would say. And it would have a positive effect. And even if she didn't like me, she's still going to laugh. So either way, you win. It's win-win. So that's basically how, it's just like she brought up, she was a great comment, and thanks for the comment, by the way. But it just, this is the type of way that you want to interact with women. You always want to assume that they like you. Always assume that they want to be with you, and then you act appropriately. And as you see, they'll become more submissive, they'll become more feminine, they become more playful. And because women don't want the power in a relationship, they're happy to let you lead things. And that's what she communicated in her response, which is she was comfortable with letting me lead the interaction. That's what a guy is supposed to do. He's not supposed to sit there and go, gee, do you like me? Do you think you'd ever go out with me? Would you like to have dinner with me sometime? There is no apology. I'm acting as if, of course, she likes me, and I'm trying to facilitate it happening as quick as possible. That's the way to be. Be direct, get right to the point. So if you have a question you want to ask me, go to my website, click the Contact Me tab, which will be on the left-hand side of your screen, and send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max, and just give me several weeks to get back to you with a response. If you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. You can do that by going to my website, click the Products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. If you want to get a digital version of my Kindle ebook, on my website, underneath the email sign-up box, there is a link that'll take you right to the Amazon Kindle download page for my book. And once you get there, if you don't have a Kindle device, just download one of their free e-reader apps for whatever electronic device that you want to read my book on. And if you appreciate the value of the information I offer in these video newsletters, the articles on my website, my ebook, you can show your appreciation right now by going to my website, and on the Wibia toolbar at the bottom of your screen, or on the right-hand column on any page of my website, click the PayPal donate button and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information. If you're watching this video on YouTube, if you click the link directly below this video that says show more, it'll actually have the link right there that'll take you to the Amazon Kindle download page for my book as well. And I will talk to you soon.